Story intended for the ages of 13 plus. No plagiarism used while making this video. All rights reserved. Please enjoy. The Memory Merchant. In the sprawling metropolis of Viridium City, memories were the currency of choice. People bought and sold memories like commodities, trading pieces of their past for fleeting moments of happiness or escape from their present realities. In this world where emotions were often dulled by the monotony of daily life, memories held a value beyond measure. Amelia Hart was a struggling artist, trying to make ends meet in a world where creativity was often overshadowed by pragmatism. She lived in a small apartment on the outskirts of the city, her studio cluttered with half-finished canvases and discarded brushes. Despite her passion for art, the harsh reality of survival often left her feeling disheartened and uninspired. One day, while wandering through the bustling streets of Viridium City, Amelia stumbled upon a small, nondescript shop tucked away in a forgotten alley. The sign above the door simply read, "Memory Merchant." Intrigued, Amelia pushed open the creaking door and stepped inside. The interior of the shop was dimly lit, shelves lined with glass jars filled with swirling wisps of light. Behind the counter stood an elderly man with kind eyes and a knowing smile. "Welcome, my dear," he greeted her. "What brings you to my humble establishment?" Amelia hesitated for a moment before replying, "I'm not sure, really. I suppose I was drawn here by curiosity." The memory merchant nodded understandingly. "Curiosity is a powerful force indeed. Allow me to show you something." He reached behind the counter and retrieved a small, intricately carved box. With a flick of his wrist, he opened the lid, revealing a shimmering crystal inside. "This," he said, "is a memory crystal. Within its depths lies a single memory, waiting to be unlocked." Amelia's eyes widened with wonder. She had heard tales of memory crystals before, but she had never seen one up close. "What kind of memories?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. The memory merchant smiled knowingly. "All kinds," he replied. "Happy memories, sad memories, memories of love and loss. The choice is yours." Amelia felt a surge of excitement coursing through her veins. Could it be possible, she wondered, to find inspiration in someone else's memories? "How much?" she asked, her heart pounding with anticipation. The memory merchant named his price, and after a moment's hesitation, Amelia reached into her pocket and handed him the money. With trembling hands, she took the memory crystal and held it up to the light. As she gazed into its depths, Amelia felt a strange sensation wash over her. It was as if she could see glimpses of another life, another world, unfolding before her eyes. She closed her fingers around the crystal, clutching it tightly to her chest. "Thank you," she whispered, her voice barely audible. The memory merchant nodded solemnly. "Remember, my dear, memories have the power to change us in ways we cannot even begin to imagine." With that, Amelia left the shop and hurried back to her studio. She wasted no time in setting up her easel and preparing her paints. With each brushstroke, she felt herself being transported to another time and place, the memory crystal guiding her hand with its silent whispers. Hours passed in a blur as Amelia poured her heart and soul into her work. When she finally stepped back to admire her creation, she was overcome with a sense of awe and wonder. It was as if she had captured a piece of someone else's soul on canvas, a fragment of their memories immortalized for eternity. As word of Amelia's masterpiece spread throughout Viridium City, people came from far and wide to see the painting that had captured the essence of human emotion like never before. Critics hailed it as a masterpiece, praising Amelia for her talent and vision. But as the accolades poured in, Amelia couldn't shake the feeling of unease that gnawed at her insides. She knew that she had created something extraordinary, something that transcended the boundaries of art and reality. But at what cost? In the weeks that followed, Amelia found herself haunted by the memory crystal she had purchased from the memory merchant. Try as she might, she couldn't shake the feeling that she had trespassed into forbidden territory, delving into memories that were not her own. Determined to set things right, Amelia returned to the memory merchant's shop, intent on returning the memory crystal and undoing the damage she had caused. But when she arrived, she found the shop deserted, the shelves bare, and the door locked tight. Desperate for answers, Amelia searched high and low for any sign of the memory merchant, but he had vanished without a trace, leaving behind only whispers and rumors of his existence. Alone with her thoughts, Amelia realized that she could never truly undo what had been done. The memory crystal had changed her in ways she could never have imagined, opening her eyes to the beauty and the pain of the world in ways she had never thought possible. And as she looked upon her masterpiece, she knew that she would carry the weight of those memories with her always, a reminder of the price she had paid for a glimpse into the soul of another. Despite her initial intentions to return the memory crystal and rectify her actions, Amelia found herself unable to part with it. The memories it contained had woven themselves into the very fabric of her being, becoming inseparable from her own. As days turned into weeks, Amelia continued to create art unlike anything she had ever produced before. Each brushstroke was infused with the emotions and experiences of the memory crystal, imbuing her work with a depth and complexity that captivated all who beheld it. But as her fame grew, so too did the whispers of those who questioned the source of her inspiration. Rumors spread like wildfire, speculating about the true nature of the memories that fueled Amelia's creativity. Despite the mounting pressure, Amelia refused to reveal the secret of the memory crystal, choosing instead to protect the memory merchant and the sacred trust they had shared. But with each passing day, the weight of her secret grew heavier, threatening to consume her from within. One night, as she sat alone in her studio, Amelia was visited by a figure shrouded in shadow. Startled, she looked up to see the silhouette of the memory merchant standing before her, his eyes filled with sorrow. "I have come to warn you, Amelia," he said, his voice barely a whisper. "The power of the memory crystal is not to be taken lightly. It can bring great joy, but it can also bring great pain." Amelia felt a lump form in her throat as she gazed upon the man who had changed her life forever. "I never meant for any of this to happen," she whispered, her voice choked with emotion. "I only wanted to create something beautiful." The memory merchant reached out and gently took her hand in his own. "I know, my dear," he said softly, "but beauty comes at a price, and sometimes that price is greater than we can bear." With those words, the memory merchant vanished into the night, leaving Amelia alone with her thoughts once more. In the silence of her studio, she knew that she could no longer continue down this path, that she had to find a way to free herself from the burden of the memory crystal once and for all. With a heavy heart, Amelia gathered her courage and made her way back to the memory merchant's shop. This time, however, she found the door unlocked, and the interior bathed in a soft, golden light. As she stepped inside, she was greeted by the sight of the memory merchant standing behind the counter, a sad smile playing at the corners of his lips. "I have been expecting you, Amelia," he said, his voice tinged with resignation. "You have come seeking answers, and I am here to provide them." Amelia felt a surge of relief wash over her as she realized that she was finally going to find the closure she so desperately sought. Taking a deep breath, she approached the counter and placed the memory crystal in front of the memory merchant. "I cannot continue like this," she said, her voice trembling with emotion. "The memories contained within this crystal have consumed me, and I can no longer bear the weight of their burden." The memory merchant nodded understandingly. "I understand, my dear," he said, "and I commend you for your bravery in facing the truth." With a flick of his wrist, the memory merchant opened the lid of the memory crystal, releasing the memories contained within back into the ether. As the swirling wisps of light danced around the room, Amelia felt a sense of peace wash over her, as if a weight had been lifted from her shoulders. "Thank you," she whispered, her voice barely audible. The memory merchant smiled sadly. "Remember, Amelia, that true beauty lies not in the memories themselves, but in the moments we create with the ones we love." With those words, he disappeared once more, leaving Amelia alone in the shop. As she made her way back to her studio, she knew that she had finally found the closure she had been searching for, that she could now move forward with her life, unburdened by the weight of the past. And as she picked up her brush and began to paint, Amelia knew that she would continue to create art that touched the hearts and souls of all who beheld it, for she had learned that true beauty could only be found in the moments we shared with one another.